Good afternoon and welcome to this multi-location meeting of the Education, Skills and Wellbeing Scrutiny Committee on the 27th of October 2022. I am Councillor Dan Thomas and I will be chairing this meeting. Please ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of this meeting. In addition, when asked to raise your hand, if members who are virtually viewing this meeting could raise your electronic hand, and for members in the Council chamber, just raise your hand. For the purpose of declarations, I would like to confirm that we will scrutinise items 9, 12 and 16 on the Cabinet Board papers. Now we'll move to declarations, agenda item 2. Are there any declarations of interest?
I can't see any declarations in the chair or online today, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, agenda item 3. You will see the minutes attached at pages 5 to 9 of your agenda pack. If you feel these are an accurate record of the meeting, please can I have a proposer and a seconder to approve these minutes? Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to raise a point that I feel is missing on the minutes on page 8, second paragraph from the bottom. We talked about the budget for youth funding for the coming year and I asked for confirmation. That's minuted. However, the Cabinet member's response is not minuted and she confirmed that that would be maintained. So I'm looking to see that to be included in the minutes, please.
If members are happy to note that addition, we can take that into account in the minutes as well.
Okay, can I have a proposer and a seconder, please?
Proposed, Chair.
Second, Chair.
Thank you. So we had a proposer and a seconder and I can't see any indications to the contrary. So those minutes are now approved with the addition as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 4. We will now move to the Cabinet Board agenda for pre-decision scrutiny. Yeah, as previously mentioned, we have decided to scrutinise items 9, 12 and 16 on the Cabinet Board agenda. Yeah. On the Cabinet agenda, item 7. No. Okay, item 9, sorry. Officers would you like to add anything additional to the report?
Good afternoon, Prananda. Nothing additional, Chair. Just to say, this work is to bring forward the consultation on the engagement and participation strategy specifically for children and young people. It's very much in its draft stages at the moment because we want to build this with children and young people and build on the work of the good work of the Youth Council currently, but looking specifically at children as well with some additional learning needs, protected characteristics and disabilities to ensure that they have a voice as well, and that feeds into decision making. So it's very much in its draft stages because, as I say, we want to build it with our children and young people, and happy to take any questions on the report. Thank you. Diolch.
Thank you for that. Do members have any questions for the officers? Councillor Reynolds, please.
I'd like to say thank you to the officers for an interesting document and ask, there is under page 74 a comment about how, well, it's all about how people will be engaged, how that will happen. And at the beginning of that page, it mentions informal conversations. And I was hoping that you might be able to confirm for me that these would be over and above the sorts of conversations that would happen in youth clubs or at schools that may be informal, but that we may be able to get out and actually engage with some of the young people who are very disengaged at the moment in our communities, who are, you know, causing some of the issues that we see in parks and on benches, those that may be involved in drugs and those sorts of things going on around our communities, and whether or not there is any way we can perhaps work with third sector organisations and the PCSOs in order to get feedback from those individuals. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes, we will be looking at all our different groups of children and young people, particularly those most vulnerable, because obviously as we go forward and recommission services and shape services, we want to understand what's important to them, what's important for them, and that we build the right support around them as well. Liz Dennis, who's on the call with me, has been seconded to undertake this work. Liz has already started to engage with some of these children and young people, and Liz's seconded role, her substantive role is that of the Wellbeing and Behaviour Manager. So obviously has good links with a lot of these children and young people and their communities as well. So yes, we can reassure you that work will be undertaken. I don't know, Liz, whether you want to add anything more to that.
Just to say that when we were looking at pulling this kind of draft together that could go out for consultation, I did speak to those kind of groups. So I spoke to ones involved with Youth Justice Service. I spoke to some of them that were involved in some of our provisions. And I think it's a really important point. And I'm a detached youth work background. So I definitely think the vision for this participation strategy is that it can happen everywhere, out on the streets, in the bus stop, wherever it needs to happen. And I know Jason's with you today and the youth service are doing some good outreach work, so it's about how we pull all that together.
If I may, Chair, I'd very, very much like to have a conversation outside the meeting with Liz and colleagues about how that goes forward. That would be lovely. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Councillor Reynolds. Are there any further questions? Can I have a proposer and a seconder? If members do not indicate to the contrary, then I will take the decision that is supported to the Cabinet Board.
I'm happy to propose, Chair.
Happy to second, Chair.
So we've had a proposal and a second, Chair, and I can't see any indications to the contrary either in the chamber or online today. So that recommendation is supported to Cabinet Board.
Item 12, Welsh Public Library Standards Annual Report 2020 to 2021. Officers, would you like to add anything additional to the report?
Good afternoon, Chair. There's nothing additional to add to the report. Just to give a little summary, just to explain that this was the Welsh Public Library Standards Report for 2020-21, and essentially it was an overview of how the authority responded in that first year of the pandemic. Now, usually the Welsh Public Library Standards would be an assessment framework with measurable standards, but Welsh Government in 2020 took those away. So this is just an overview of how we managed and adapted during that year. So we're happy to take any questions from any members here today.
Thank you. Councillor Reynolds?
It'd be nice if somebody else spoke, but yes. I wanted to just referring to page 143 in the main, but it's a good report. It reflects really well on the authority, and just wanted to make that point clear in public for staff, and wanted to ask about, we're obviously in a period of time where these libraries as community hubs are so vital in our area, and page 143 outlines that very clearly from a Welsh Government point of view. They're going to get more and more important as the cost of living crisis really bites on people, particularly over this winter, and we need to make sure that they remain, and I think it's not going to get any easier the years after that. We've managed to maintain all of our libraries. We are one of the few authorities, as this report makes clear, that has managed to increase participation during the pandemic because of the excellent work of the staff. So I think I would like to be clear that there is, that as much focus as possible will be made to maintain those hubs in the community and maintain the service going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Reynolds. Councillor Peter Rees?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I would like just to follow on from what Sonia has just said. I'd like to commend the officers and the people who provide our library services. I know the hard work that they do. The question I want to ask is, during what is going to be a very difficult winter, are the libraries equipped, or is there any idea of having warm zones for our people to go in because of the problems we have with the expense of the electricity and gas and so on? So are we proposing any warm zones in the library, in our libraries?
Would you like me to take that one, Chair?
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Yeah, yes, Councillor Rees, we are. Wayne, as our county librarian, unfortunately isn't well today, so that's why he's not with us. Wayne is already in conversation with the LAC officers, and libraries will become part of that offer, as is pointed out Art Centre, and I will be discussing it with Celtic Leisure regarding some of our leisure provisions. So, but to specifically answer your question, Councillor, yes, the libraries will be part of that offer.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Councillor Whitlock.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. It's just like to pass on my thanks to the officers and especially all the library staff who've done so well over the last couple of years under very trying times. So I wanted to say thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Mason.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'd just like to say that in Carmarthen Library, we already have Monday, Wednesday and Fridays from 10 o'clock, free tea and coffee and biscuits for anybody who wants to call in, anybody on their own or, you know, to want to put the heating on first thing in the morning. Ellen has worked wonders there with the staff, and we are looking to probably expand it, you know, as the winter months draw on. So Carmarthen Library is certainly at the forefront at the moment of the warm places, you know what I mean? So I can pass on my thanks to everybody.
Thank you. Are there any further questions?
Can I just say that's what I would expect of the library service, having been involved with it over many years, and I just want to reiterate my thanks to them all because they work so hard in the service that they provide.
Thank you. The recommendation is listed on page 136 of the Cabinet Board Agenda Pack. Sorry, Councillor Reynolds.
I did ask about maintaining the service. I didn't get a firm response. So, you know, being able to maintain the service as we go forward through this system and make sure that the hubs can function. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Could I just say, Chair, could I thank all the members for the complimentary comments? I shall be certain to pass them on to library staff and to Wayne John as well.
Thank you.
I asked about confirmation that the hubs would be able to remain open and provide the service going forward.
I'll take that, Chair. As we sit today, the answer will be yes. We will be doing everything we possibly can to maintain it. Unless there's a technical issue, I apologise, at a library on a certain day, I foresee no reason why we wouldn't continue the offer through the winter months, Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. The recommendation is listed on page 136 of the Cabinet Board Agenda Pack. Can I please have a proposal and seconder? If members do not wish to indicate to the contrary, then I will take the decision that is supported to the Cabinet Board.
I'm happy to propose, Chair.
Happy to second, Chair.
Before we move to the vote, Chair, can I confirm, Councillor Whitelock, is that a legacy hand?
Yes, sorry, I thought I'd have taken it down. Struggling with IT today.
There we are. The hand has now been removed. You've had a proposal and a seconder in the chamber. So if any members can now indicate to the contrary, please. So I can see no indications to the contrary, so that recommendation is now supported, Cabinet Board.
Thank you. Agenda item 16, Youth Service Update. Officers, would you like to add anything additional to the report?
Thank you, Chair. I'm sure everyone knows in the meeting and
virtually how proud I am of our youth service. And I say our youth service, over 100 officers work with these young people. Now more than ever, I think we do need a youth service that's active and proactive with our young people. As Councillor Reynolds often says, it's about engaging with them as soon as we can, and ours do. We need to offer them opportunities and pathways to make the right choice in life. They are faced with a lot of difficult choices. That's it from us, really. We're open to, I'll take any easy questions, and Jason will take the hard ones, Chair.
Thank you. Do members have any questions for the officers? Councillor Reynolds.
Yes, spectre at the feast. Sorry. I had, my question has been mostly on this paper has been mostly answered by what Liz said on the participation and engagement. So I don't have specific questions of that nature. However, on the appendices, again, and I think I've asked this previously, there's the youth clubs in your area. Obviously, these are the council-run youth clubs. I know, because I know and work with Jason well, and the youth service are all excellent in the work they do, that we're aware and linked in with many other clubs across the piece who are run by volunteers and other organisations.
No.
Would it be possible to provide information to councillors of what youth clubs we link with and are aware of across the local authority area, so that we can see the wider work of that youth service? Because, I mean, for example, in my area, the Voluntary Youth Club is linking in with the youth service to run Duke of Edinburgh and other things, and have been linked in on all sorts of other things. So it would be logical if we can portray that as well. It would be really helpful, I think, to know.
Thanks, Councillor Reynolds. Yeah, that is, you are right, that is our local authority maintained youth clubs. We do support loads of youth clubs and youth provisions outside of that. And I can either put in a brief summary of what we do outside of the normal youth clubs, and I'll take it on board and I'll add it to the next
You can do that.
report. Is that okay?
Any other questions? Councillor Peter Rees.
Not a question. Just again, my thanks to the people in the youth service. Again, I've been involved with it, as Jason and others will know, for a long time, and I know the amount of work that goes in. So congratulations, thank you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. This report is for monitoring. Oh, hi. Ricardic.
Sorry, Chair. It was just the neat part of the thing, the paper. It was reported back quite a while ago that there's children just not back at school that should be. Are we managing to sort of find them? If that's the correct, but after COVID, there's some of them just not returned, and I wondered if we were we're always concerned about numbers, but it's so important to get them back.
I can answer that, Chair, if you wish. Yeah. Yes, for those that we know about that haven't returned on roll to the school they're in, yes, we are in touch, and the school are also in touch with them. Health services are in touch with them. EWO services are in touch with them. So we are aware of those. The ones that have elected to be home educated, we have that team that are in touch with those families as well. Obviously, we still don't have the right to walk into the house and check the child's okay, but we're hoping that one day that will change. So we are aware, and there's a variety of reasons why they haven't re-engaged fully. It's not that they haven't re-engaged at all. It might be that they haven't re-engaged fully. For some of our young people, the online learning really helped them and really worked with them, for some. But obviously, we've reverted back now to school being school. And some of our schools are adapting as best they can to help young people back into school that have severe anxiety. But more importantly than that, it's not just the young person that we need to support. It's often the family that sits behind the young person that has issues which then roll into the young person's anxieties. So we're working with all of that, councillor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Oh, sorry, Chair, we've got the system.
Just in addition to that, because we've got a year 11 transition team that work with pupils who are in year 11 and transitioning into a post-16 destination. And in previous years, we've been really proud to say we've found everybody, so we know where everybody goes after they leave school, even those electrically home educated or off school role. As of yesterday, there was one young person that we haven't found in our year 11 transition, and that was because of consent was denied. So we got no kind of no way of finding that young person. So we know where all of our year 11 pupils have left as well. So it's not that they may not have returned to school, but we've been able to keep supporting them in the meantime and in a post-16 destination as well.
Thank you for that. This report is for monitoring, therefore we will note the report. Moving on to agenda item 5, forward work. This item is for noting unless members have any comments. Councillor Reynolds.
I've got a couple of comments on this, if I may. I'm assuming that the item that that's being taken by the Cabinet on the Cabinet forward work for November, which is the Band C schools, will cover off the 21st century schools issues that we raised at our pre-meeting discussing forward look programme and planning for this committee. So I'm assuming that's how that will be covered. I am concerned that we are waiting until the 2nd of March to get a cost of living support paper to the committee, given that the urgent issues that people are facing now and our schools are facing now, and our libraries and others. So it would be good if that could move forward. But I understand the pressures, but it's we've got 2 meetings between now and then. And then I've got a third item I'd like to bring up if that's dealt with. Thank you.
Yes, that's fine. Yeah. Can I ask Hayley Lurvy to respond to Councillor Reynolds, please?
Oh, sorry, Chair. Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
I was asking if we could have an earlier than the 2nd of March cost of living support in schools update. We are, there's a concern for people at the current time, and it's not something I feel we can leave till the spring.
I think that's something that we are discussing with our director at the moment, that particular item, Councillor Reynolds. So we'll get back to you on that one as soon as possible. Is that okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And my final item on this is that I'm very aware, as I take it most people on the committee are, that the judicial review on the Swansea Valley Schools reorganisation has reported. And in the light of that, I wanted to ask when on our agendas we would receive an update on that, or whether any information on what the council was progressing at the current time was available. Thank you.
Can I bring Rhiannon Crowhurst in, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. At the moment, I haven't got any more information to give you, Councillor Reynolds. We're considering all the options, and we hope to bring a report sometime this term on what we will be doing going forward.
Thank you.
Before we move on, Chair, can I just raise one item? So we are under a duty to consult with members of the committee with regards to the day and the time of the meetings, just to confirm that everyone's happy with it. We have had a couple of meetings already, and I haven't had any issues raised. But if there are any issues raised, concerns with the day and the time of the meeting, if you could just come back to me after the meeting, I would be grateful.
Just as chair of the committee today, I'd like to mention that we would be grateful for written responses rather than verbal, so all members have an idea of what's going on and what timescales, etc. Thank you. Agenda item 6, urgent items.
I can confirm there are no urgent items received today, Chair.
And agenda item 7, access to meetings.
This item is not required today, Chair, as there's no private items to be scrutinised.
There's no further items. That ends the business for today. Thank you for attending, everyone.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, everyone.